Nice.
Good evening, all. Welcome to the January 22nd meeting of the Regional Governing Board of the Southwest Vermont Regional Technical School Center. Are there any public comments? Seeing none, we'll move on. Consent agenda. We have the minutes of the meeting of the full board for December 18th. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Franny motion, Ed second. Any discussion? Seeing none, please raise your right hand if you're in favor. Unanimous? We don't have a, oh, Sandy, you're doing the meeting tonight, okay. All right, payroll warrants, number 18, number 1026, number 19, and number 1028. May I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Franny motion, Ken second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, raise your right hand. It's unanimous. Vendor warrants, number 1027 and number 1029.
So moved.
Second.
Franny motion, Ken second.
Second.
Or John's, I apologize. No, that's all right. Any discussion?
I'm second.
Yes, Ken.
No, second. I didn't.
No, I already got my second. Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, all raise your
One
hand.
comment on the vendor warrant. Thought it was interesting there that, we had an Energizer plant right in our town, and we also have an operations manager on the board, but yeah, we bought Duracell batteries.
They were cheaper.
I have to apologize. I shaved tonight with a Gillette blade.
We generally do have someone who asks if we buy Energizer on site, but it must have slipped.
We'll work on that next time, John.
Thank you, John, for your comment. All in favor, please raise your right hand. It's unanimous. Cash flow, the memo's in the packet. Revenue expenses along with it. Committee reports, we had education and facilities tonight. Ed Letourneau was chairman.
We had a brief meeting primarily to update the board on activities that are going on in the facilities and what's going to be needed down the road, like the roof repairs and the front steps. Probably part of the security system still needs to be fully upgraded. Educationally, we had a short discussion on how we can advance some of our programs, and nothing concrete came of it, but we're still kicking over ideas and considering ways to enhance some of our programs.
Okay.
I can elaborate, but
No, that's all right.
I don't know that.
Nope, that's it.
No, that's fine.
That's all. Oh, I thought you meant that. Yeah, go ahead.
Good evening, Lynn.
Thank you very much.
Okay, action items. Warning of the ballot budget. Do we have that in?
So the copy of the warning is in the Dropbox. I'm just looking for your approval of this, and then I will pass it around for you to sign off on it. The warning will be posted at the town office, I think in the next couple days, when it falls between the correct, like the 30 and 45 days.
Do we put that on our Facebook page too?
We haven't historically. It goes to all the, it goes to our town office who sends it around. And then we also show it at the joint board meeting for Bennington, when we have the meeting with the finance with SVSU. And it goes, and it's in our annual report that goes out at the end, is on our web page.
Incidentally, and unrelated to that particular subject, but speaking about Facebook, I like seeing the posts that the CDC puts up there that go out to other people. But I got to thinking about, particularly about the veterinary technician course that we're starting to offer. And I went looking at the link that was provided, and I couldn't find any cost information, and I thought maybe we should be putting that information out there too, so that people have an idea of what the program that they could enroll in might cost without having to call the CDC.
That's been updated on our Facebook page, and the reason that the price wasn't reflected in the,
We didn't know it.
well, not that we didn't know it, but we are currently talking with the local veterinary hospitals and other organizations who want to be partner organizations, that we may perhaps offer some sort of discount, if you will, for the cost of the class as being a partner with us. And so we're still trying to figure that piece out. But the cost is still for anyone that wants to enroll in the class. And I'll talk about it during my superintendent's report.
I wasn't trying to criticize, I was just...
No, it was a great comment,
It
and
was an observation I had when I went looking.
we have a
It's
lot
also
of...
helpful to get people in the door to understand that there's a lot of options for them in terms of helping to pay for that class.
Right. I mean, we do want folks to call us, because there are, as Stephanie indicated, a lot of options for payment to class, whether that be through a VSAC grant, or it might be some kind of Department of Labor funding, or there might be some internal...
Department of Labor grant.
Department of Labor grants that we have. I mean, there's just so many different options for folks, that, you know, that $1,600 may not be their out-of-pocket cost for the class, so, or the program. So we encourage them to come in and talk to us.
It's a good alternative point that I didn't think about.
So the warning is in the Dropbox, and I'm going to, assuming that you vote to approve it, I'm going to pass it around to have signed, and when it's within the proper warning period at the town, I'm going to bring it over to Cassie to have it posted.
Where is it in the Dropbox?
Under action items.
Mine says folder is empty.
January action items?
We should have 4 of them. Go back to RBG. RGB.
January.
It is in there.
Go back to use the different there you go.
Wrong January.
There you go. High action
Bold
items.
January.
There.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Is there any questions on?
Do you need a motion?
Yes.
I'll move it. Second?
Brandy made the motion, Ken seconded it. Now what, any discussion on this draft, please?
Mostly a nice
A
job.
warning, excuse me.
I just make a comment on it. The format and the language is the same as it has been every year, minus obviously with the exceptions of warning the amount of the budget and those things. The articles are all listed out the same as the others.
This probably isn't a place to mention this, but, hey, what the heck, when you're the chairman, you can do what you want. I would hope that everybody tries their best to make it to the town meeting. I know that it's maybe 15 minutes, it's probably more like 5 minutes at the most that it takes. It's more of a problem driving there, getting out, walking up the stairs, sitting down and making a show. And I also realize that there's many of our members that are also members of other school boards, and thus the conflict makes it almost impossible for them. But if there's any way possible, I would really appreciate you doing your most to get out and be at that meeting come, it's March 2nd, or when is it, the 5th this year?
The meeting is Monday, March
March
5th,
5th, yeah.
and the vote will be Tuesday, March 6th.
Right. Doesn't take 12 months, and we don't do a whole lot, but sit there and look nice for the public, I guess. Thank you.
Well, sometimes we are asked questions.
Yes, we are.
Would you like to see it?
Yeah.
Just don't work on it, because that's not probably,
Anybody have any other comments,
see right.
discussion?
Do we have to sign this?
So, yes, the draft won't, I'm passing around in
Oh, okay.
And there's a spot.
All in favor? Raise your right hand, please. It's unanimous. Okay, we have a retirement. Would you please do a little brief discussion about it? Mike?
Certainly. So I have a letter here, which I'll read, which is standard practice, which I do for all retirements or resignations. Contractually, for teachers who are retiring in this fiscal year, or this school year, need to give notice to the school board by January 6th, in order to meet their clause in the contract. So that's why this is coming to you in January. Dear Mike, it is with a deep feeling of gratitude and just a touch of sadness that I write this letter to inform you that I'll be retiring from the teaching faculty of the SBCDC effective June 30th, 2018. You know that this letter was expected and that I've been expecting to retire after this academic year. However, I do want to express my thanks for the privilege of teaching the students of the CDC, wherever they are, during the past 22 years. I also want to express my gratitude for your leadership and friendship over many of those years. I feel confident that the CDC is moving in a good direction and that your leadership has a significant part to play in that confidence. I only hope that I may have played a small part in that development during my time with the CDC. I know that I'll miss teaching, but there are other fields to plow in the time I have left, and I retire with a confident and hopeful heart. Sincerely, Bruce Lee Clark.
I'd like a motion to accept his
So moved.
retirement.
Second.
Fran moved,
Second.
John seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none?
We won't be able to replace them.
That's a possibility. Yeah.
Big shoes to fill.
I think it pretty much goes with saying with regret, we'll accept it. All in favor? Please raise your hand. I believe it's unanimous. Field trips.
The first field trip in your Dropbox should be for cosmetology. It's their annual trip to New York City to the International Beauty Show. The program cost is there. In the past, they do a lot of fundraising for this trip every single year. Last year, if you may recall, their trip was canceled. They were on their way down, and there was last year that time a big nor'easter coming up, and we had to bring them back on the train before they even got started. Well, they were actually already halfway to the city.
No, they were there.
We turned them back around. So it was a good thing we did because the rail line was shut down for like 2 days. So hopefully this year there's no another nor'easter for them. But we did get a refund last year. The beauty show was good about giving us the money back because we couldn't attend their stuff. So this is their annual trip before you tonight.
Could I have a motion to accept that?
So moved.
Second. Franny motion and John second. All in favor, or discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, raise your right hand. It's unanimous.
The second field trip in your packet is for the Culinary Arts Program. This year it is for their competition in Hyde Park, New York. The Culinary Institute of America. It's their regional Pro Star invitation. They did last year, where they did win and went on to the nationals. So,
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Frank made a motion, John made the second.
I have a quick question. When we only have, in this particular case, it says 3 students are going to attend. How do we transport them? Do we have to take a bus for that, or can they be transported in
It
a...
says they're taking the bus.
we take one of our vans usually,
Okay.
one of our smaller vans.
Right, and as Sandy noted, they have a lot of equipment to bring down. They have to bring their own equipment, so they may end up in a bigger...
In a bus, but we
Oh,
we
okay. I
transport.
did not understand that element.
I forgot last year we had to bring on an entire truckload of equipment. with us.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Everything but the kitchen sink, basically.
Pretty much.
Thank you.
Understood.
They supplied the water.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, raise your right hand, please. It's unanimous. Okay, superintendent's report.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for coming out tonight and those watching on TV. For tonight, for the superintendent's report, I have a few items to address to you. The last month, since our last meeting, we've been focused on our winter recruitment campaign. Rising freshmen and sophomores from Mount Anthony have already been enrolled for, starting enrollment for classes for next fall already. This is the time of year, I know I mentioned it last month, we're focused on the budget primarily, but we do heavy recruitment, and it seems early in the year, but it's when students are signing up for next year already. So rising freshmen and sophomore, juniors and seniors will come next. Will I have any kind of enrollment numbers for you until spring? No. I mean, everything is in flux until school starts. I can give you a good snapshot in May or June about what enrollment looks like for the fall, but that won't be anything, concrete. As you know, those numbers don't solidify until October of this coming school year. So we expect full enrollment in our short blocks again, our intro classes. I have no reason to believe that they won't fill or be nearly full. They always have been in the past, and we did our 8th grade tours here, and those freshmen went over, or rising freshmen went over and signed up for classes right afterwards, so that has proven fairly beneficial for us. Also, I'd like to talk about our adult education program. Our LNA cohort for the fall, or the winter, is about to finish up, and they'll be testing their written test shortly. They're wrapping up their clinical. I signed certificates today, so they are nearing completion of their program. And Stephanie, there are 12 or 13 students in the cohort?
There are 10 testing.
In 10 testing, yeah. So it looks like there will probably be enough students to run a second cohort potentially the spring. I'm not certain yet, but we're waiting on numbers for that. So that's going well. Also, our first CDL permit class is completed. The students have tested. I understand they're coming back for one more session with our instructor, Tim Whitman. Thank you, Stephanie. We're actually starting our second CDL permit class on February 27th, so we're going to be running it again. And we hope that there's enough to run it. I'm sure there will be. There was a lot of interest in this one. And as we try every class, we learn new things. We knew how hard this was going to be to begin with, and now that we've gone through it for several weeks, we've seen areas that we can improve and areas that Tim has decided he wants to tweak some of the class to be more beneficial for students. So, and we're talking about a little bit different of a pricing structure for the program. There are a lot of nuances with it, including physical exam and where you can get that done, and the cost varies from one place to another. Everything from $80 to $240 or something. So there's a lot of moving components to it. So I've learned more about CDL in the last 6 weeks than I thought I would. Also, our veterinary assistant program for adult ed launches Wednesday evening at 5 o'clock here at the CDC. It looks like we're going to have between 5 and 8 students enrolled in that, and that's kind of the magic number we wanted to begin with. I had a very rewarding meeting a couple weeks ago with almost all of the area veterinary hospitals, the practice managers who are completely on board with this certified program through Penn and us. It was an hour-and-a-half meeting, and I walked away feeling a real sense of pride and commitment from our community to support students who enroll in this veterinary assistant program. So much so that we moved, the date was going to be tonight, is when we launched the class. We moved it to Wednesday night so that all the area hospitals could be here to pledge their support to the students who are enrolled in the program and explain to them what it really means to work in a veterinary practice. So that shows the level of commitment from our local and regional hospitals that's for the program. I'll tell you that we've had a chance to really dive into the program and look at it closely, look at the curriculum, look at the number of hours to completion. It is a serious certificate program. It's not going to be no walk in the park. It is about 450 classroom hours with an additional 100 hours of the internship. So that, on a 7-month average, that's between 12 and 15 hours a week of working on coursework. So we're excited about the program launching on Wednesday. I think we're all a little nervous. It's brand new, just like the CDL was, and so should be great. Also, what's going to be coming before you, believe next month is an opportunity for our students in our building trades program and also from our video productions program to potentially attend a rebuild in Puerto Rico as part of, not directly affiliated with Habitat for Humanity.
Not affiliated.
Not affiliated, excuse me.
Their fundraising is through
But
Habitat.
Fundraising is through Habitat. And that's really been spearheaded by Jim Godine. He's part of the Building Trades Corporation. And we met on that again today with the instructor. The plan would be still very loose. We'll have all the details for you when it comes before the board. But there'll be 3 students from Building Trades, 1 from Video Productions, 2 chaperones here from the center. One being Meg, our assistant director, is planning on going because there'll be a female student going. And they'll spend approximately a school week in Puerto Rico, just depending on when they get there and where they'll be at what build site. And so I don't have all the details for you tonight, not even remotely, but I want to put it on your radar that this is going to come before the board it needs approval by the board. And there are a lot of moving parts to it, but I can't think of a more incredible opportunity for students to visit abroad and visit an area that's in great need of help. And then to have our video productions program video that, and then plan on bringing it back here and sharing it with our community and our board. I think that's pretty powerful, and I'm looking forward to sharing the details with you once I have them all. That trip, it's going to be in March. I do know the window is March 17th through the 30th. I do know the window, but a matter of when our students would travel and how they get there, the dates, etc. I don't have this for you.
What city?
Yet. Stephanie, it's moving. It depends on where the need is. They're working from the beaches in, so it's my understanding that students will be more inland in this build than they will directly on the coast. And I'm sorry, I don't have the city.
Going to take them on St. Patrick's Day?
I don't know yet.
Do you have contact people down there too?
Jim Godine has been working closely with an organization down there, and I believe he also has family in that area. So it sounds like he's been doing a lot of coordination in terms of where the housing and making sure people will have a kitchen to cook in and cots. And
he's been communicating back and forth, and he has his feet on the ground in Puerto Rico, and has been doing this work for some time. And so there'll be a lot of people for this build, not just from Vermont or from Bennington.
Sounds like there's about 20 from this group going, but this group also consists of people coming from Minnesota, so I'm not sure how everyone gets hooked up.
Like I said, I'll have more details for you. I just wanted to put it on your radar that it will be coming before the board during the February meeting. Yeah, I'm excited about it. Well, it does send up red flags of nervousness. I think that it's going to be a great opportunity, and I wouldn't want the students to miss it. Although a lot of logistics behind it to make it happen.
I have one question going back to what you said earlier about the pre-tech and the short block classes and students signing up. Do we ever have instances where we turn away students because the short block is full?
Yes. Yeah. Well, not directly turn away. I mean, there's only so many seats in the short block.
Yeah, or direct them into
we try to
one
direct them.
that isn't their first choice.
Right. Not every student gets their first choice. However many freshmen there are at Mount Anthony, and we're talking 250 or so freshmen, rough number. They choose a selection of 1 to 10 of their short blocks, and those are not just the ones here at the CDC. They're also what offered at their home school. And so they get put in there, from 1 to 10. So a student could be in one of our intro classes, and it could be choice number 10, or it could be choice number 1. I don't, but some students don't get in because the class fills, which is a good thing. That the class is full, not that the student can't get in, but that the class is full. The nice thing, though, to remind everybody about our intro classes is, while they're designed for 9th and 10th graders, it doesn't mean that an 11th grader couldn't take an intro class. In fact, they do. You know, if you can't get it in 9th grade, you could certainly try it in 10th grade, you could try it in 11th. You have plenty of opportunity to get into any of our classes.
If we turn some of them away, is that an indicator that maybe we should expand the number of intro courses? I'm just throwing out the question. I don't know if it's valid.
No, it is a valid question, Ed. I think that depends on the course. As you know, last year we attempted to expand med professions in a additional short block, and we didn't have a lot of students for it, and then we had a problem getting the instructors, so it worked out for the best. But could I see in some intro class areas where there certainly could be need for a second one? Potentially. But there's what comes with that is hiring other staff, because there is no time contractual workday for teachers who are already teaching an intro class in their 2 programs, you know, year 1, year 2. There's no time in the contractual day to add another interest block. Many of our teachers teach their intro class in both semesters. So some teach in the fall and the spring, some teach it in both, or one or the other. So it all depends on teacher scheduling.
Thank you.
So it sounds like, Mike, if there is 2, 3, 4 years in a row where one class continues to not be able to accommodate all the interest, that's when you're going to, maybe in the education committee, take a look at expanding that class. But
Right.
there needs to be sort of a trend there of.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a one-year blip. I mean, that would be really to have some data behind it that, I'm making this example up, but, you know, there are 16 students who are in building trades, intro to automotive, and there's really 30 signups, you know, and we're only taking 16, and we consistently see that. And I think taking a look at, you know, how, number one, can we expand it, both space-wise and time-wise, and what would that look like? And I think we would certainly do our due diligence to take a look at that if it was truly a pattern of overcrowding, you know, in a certain class.
Are we tracking that data?
We do. Yeah. And no different than if we had an intro class that for some reason never ran, you know, or there's only 2 students in it every semester. We don't have any of those, but we would evaluate, why are we running this, and, you know, should we change it, should we eliminate it, should we do something different with it? So that's what I have for my report tonight. This is more questions.
Yeah, on the buildings rate, the numbers where students you mentioned are going, is that because that's all we have that's interested in going, or that's the number that maybe we can slot for us from the tech center?
It's a combination. Stephanie, you were at the initial meeting and I wasn't. It's my understanding that, you know, there's only so much money to send to students and the faculty, because they're going to be doing some fundraising for it as well. Also, students who are interested in going, not every student is interested in going, those that can physically go, in other words, they are in academic good standing, you know, at their sending school. We're not going to pull a student out who perhaps is failing over the class, you know, for a week at a school. And then, you know, other factors such as insurance coverage. And there are a lot of things that will go into it.
Did we have to turn anybody away?
Well, we haven't, no. We actually right now have, the instructors have given us names of students that are interested in it. And believe it or not everyone's student's interested in it. Or the instructor doesn't feel that they are ready yet to go and do something like that. You know, the instructor has the best knowledge of the student's skill set and their maturity level, and being able to handle themselves, you know.
But we didn't just put a cap on it, say only 4 can go.
I'm not sure how, originally it was just my understanding the discussion was about 2 building trades kids, and then, you know, when we went to the meeting, Jim brought up the fact that it would be great to bring someone from the video production, which is how that came about, and the building trades instructor indicated that he might have 3 potentially that could go. So, and I think that's
Kind of where the number 3 has come from.
And they're discussing that we probably need about $1,000 per person going, between flight and food, some of which will be fundraising, some of it will come, it sounds like they're hoping some of it might come out of the Building Trades Corporation, and then
I guess my concern is, you know, if this is open to so-called all students, then in building trades and one in photography, but I didn't want anybody turned down because of money concerns.
No, there won't be anyone I would say turned down strictly on money concerns. You know, like I said, there's we're still working on a somewhat of a selection process of students who are appropriate to go. The instructor feels will, you know, has the skill set and knowledge and maturity level to handle traveling. So it's a long haul down there. Today, it's, you know, getting there is between a 12 and 13 hour flights with connections in kind of remote areas. So, you know, I don't mean to be, I'm not trying to dodge your question, Jen.
No, I wish you would come back to us, though, if it is a money concern, and let us know.
Absolutely, it will. If for some reason we get into the planning process with this and it ends up that there isn't enough fundraising or there isn't enough in the corporation or whatever, we'll certainly bring that to the board at the March meeting or at the February meeting and or our subcommittee meeting and to talk about that if that's the case.
Well, not all kids are appropriate for a trip like this,
Right.
and I fully understand that. And, you know, sometimes you need a more compact unit to go because of transportation issues, and, I mean, you can't have 8 kids in one car.
Well, it's a lot for
One last
one or two teachers to be able
Yes.
to monitor the work of 8 students on a project. And we've got so many eyes on the teachers
Right,
trying to do
right.
work too, and so there's a,
But I just didn't
Good
want
number.
anybody not going because of monetary problems.
Right, I understand.
Were there any educational review of the agricultural course short block that Mount Anthony was talking about offering?
As far as
How it affect the center?
I spoke with Laura Boudreau directly about the class that I'm told is being offered for next year at Mount Anthony. I don't know that it'll run. It depends on enrollment, my understanding, on a sustainability type course, you know, at Mount Anthony. As you know, we had a sustainability short block or intro class here. We had it for almost 5 years to get it to run in some capacity, and it just never took off. I can't tell you why. It was certainly for not lack of trying or expenditures and trying to make it happen. You know, and so I did speak with Mount Anthony about if that program does run, how it really should be run by the technical center. It's already an approved program here, or a short block here at the center, and how we could collaborate on that if in fact there is enough interest in that class to be, no pun intended, sustainable over time.
Okay.
Mike, have you heard from Jim Tamarki at the hospital at all? The reason I ask is because they're creating 5 new positions up there, and I can't tell you exactly what it is. It's kind of like a social welfare kind of thing. According to Jim, it's very difficult to hire people for this position, and so he just mentioned it to me, and I was also talking with the folks from CCV about our human services students possibly partnering with CCV into a pipeline into this position.
I
So-
haven't heard from Jim directly,
Okay.
Rob.
I'll mention it to him next
you know,
time I see him.
I might see him
so.
tomorrow morning at Rotary. I don't know if he's in the AM Rotary or not, but I'll be
Okay.
there tomorrow morning, so.
Okay.
If
Yeah.
he's there, I'll seek him out.
Yeah, there was some interest in talking to you and the human services
Great.
instructor about that.
Great.
so.
Thank you.
Mhm.
That's all I have.
Okay, good. I think that's pretty much it, except for I'd just like to talk about the February meeting. In years past, we chose to pass up on February as a month off from the school boards. Sounds like Mike took away that pleasure.
Not necessarily. Come on now.
Yeah,
I
we
think
moved this meeting so that it would cover
That's correct.
2 months.
I don't think there's much for alternatives, do you?
So, Historically, you have taken February off and met either earlier in March, right after the the reorganization meeting.
Correct.
The way that it falls, this year, the meeting would be if we were met, would be on the 19th of February, which falls on President's Day and school vacation. So we could, I believe we should still have a meeting in February, although maybe particularly if we're talking about approving a field trip, and the contents to Puerto Rico, and there's warrants to sign and things. It may not be a long meeting, but I would propose it either be the 12th or the 26th. I don't know.
I would think the 12th might make more sense, only that the 26th will be the week right before the floor.
Be really close to the.
And we may need, I think the sooner we have approval to do the purchasing for the trip to Puerto Rico and things like that, the better probably would.
So the 12th would be the preferred date.
So we're all going to have a meeting in February, right? I just want you guys,
I mean, I think that there's a reason to, so,
Yeah.
yeah, we may as well.
I just want to be sure the finger got pointed at the right person.
Won't be the first time.
All right. I'm sure Sandy will send out notices to us. Thank you very much, Sandy. You do a great job. Anybody else have any other comments?
I do have one thing.
Okay.
I know. I forgot to mention during my superintendent's report that our equipment grant that we received from the state, one that we get every year, I've submitted that, and we have substantial approval on it for 3 pieces of equipment. It's a total of about $27,000. Nothing by itself costs that much. There are 3 to 4 items that are in there, and they've had substantial approval from the state. Well, that's good news. We haven't purchased anything yet. We're waiting on the final sign-off from the Agency of Education. So I'm sure we'll have that before the next meeting.
Don't we normally get more than that amount?
No, it averages between $26,000 to $28,000. I don't know what formula they use to determine that. I'm sure it's based on enrollment and other factors that we're not made aware of. But it's been about the same for the last several years, not substantially higher or lower. It's good news.
Any other comments, discussion? Seeing none, may I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Randy, motion, Bob, second. All in favor, raise your right hand. It's unanimous, thank you. Good night, all.
John, you still there?